Welcome to the Gunport channel. Today I'm out here with the Ruger GP100. Now this is my GP100. It's 357 Magnum. They have made a few of the GP100s, I think, in 327 Federal Magnum, but this is definitely 357 Mag. Now, one reason I like this gun over a lot of the other 357 Magnums made out there is simply the robustness of this revolver. These things are built like artillery, okay? You're not going to find a stronger 357 Magnum revolver made. I mean, the gun is just overbuilt, over-engineered, and that's the way Bill Ruger intended it to be made. He wanted a gun that a guy could go and shoot full house 357 Magnum rounds out of every day, and this gun would last a lifetime. And that's exactly what I get when I see this thing. Okay, let's shoot it a little bit. I got some Fago pop down through here. I think that's Moonbeam Mist and orange. And it's probably going to tick a Juggalo off somewhere. Here we go. We're going to shoot that Moonbeam first. And then I'm going to try to go over there for that longer shot about 30 yards away and hit the orange Fago. I haven't shot a revolver in a long time, especially this one. And so I'm a little rusty. So bear with me if I miss. Oh yeah. Gotta love the 357 mag. It's nowhere near as strong as some of the other cartridges out there, but it's still got plenty of power. Yep. Like I said, bear with me. There we go. I go for a plate here. Look at that. If you guys watched the 9mm video last week, you can definitely tell the difference in the power on that. I don't want to shoot this round plate here because it's not AR at all. Let's go for the square one though. That's AR 400. Got a good solid hit on that. See if I can go for that 8-inch plate down yonder. Go. There's a plate a little bit farther down the hill. Let's see if I got any rounds left. No. Time for a reload. I'm going to try to go for a plate that's about 70 yards from right here. It's just slightly out of sight from where the camera's at. Should be able to hear it ring if I can hit it. I doubt I'll be able to hit it. I'm not the best revolver shooter there is. Definitely not Bob Munden or Elmer Keith. You know, he wants, there's claims to Elmer Keith once shooting 600 yards with a revolver. And if you don't know much about Elmer Keith, he kind of helped design this round, and he definitely helped in the development of the 44 Magnum. Old cowboy from Montana. Oh, that's going to be hard to hit. You know what? Screw it. Let's see if I can go way out there. I'm going to go 120. Yeah, I got it. I don't know if it dinged. The double action. For it again. We had one. Kind of weird. I'm shooting cheap ammo out of it. But, yeah, I mean, these things, they're built like a tank. The GP100 is one of my favorite all-time revolvers. Like I said, it's just overbuilt. One thing I would definitely upgrade is the trigger, and that's easy to do. It's $8. Midway USA sells a Wilson Combat spring kit. And they also sell a Wolf spring kit. And another thing I'd upgrade on is the front sight. I'm not too fond of the front sight on this gun. So much so that I actually, on this one right now, I use some of my girlfriend's fingernail polish there. And just put a little green line going up so I could see it a little bit better. It's not the best front sight for sure. It's probably going to be upgraded with a fiber optic in the near future. But yeah, the Wilson Combat Spring Kit, it's pretty simple to do. There's plenty of videos here on YouTube that you can get on there and find out how to do it. One thing I would recommend if you feel comfortable and you have enough knowledge on working on a gun is to polish the inside. Polish, do not grind. We don't want to take sandpaper. We don't want to take a file to it. We don't want to take a stone of any type. We just want to polish. We want to make everything in here shiny, right? Shiny and sparkly. That's what we want. And mainly on the areas where they're engaging with each other. So where the sear engages, we just want to polish it. So what I would recommend is Mother's Mag and aluminum polish, and you can take it on a terry cloth, literally just a piece of terry cloth, and rub it. It's going to take some elbow grease and some time, but you'll get a nice mirror finish on there. And where any of those parts engage and come together is where we want to polish at. And then another thing that that's kind of important is making sure you get the proper mainspring in. It's going to come in the kit. The Wilson Combat Kit comes with 3 springs. I think one's a 9, a 10, and a 12. I have a 10 in here. Now, I read online, people that use the 9, they had mixed results with it. Some guys would get a light, like a light primer strike, and that's not good, So I just went ahead and I put the 10 in. And right now, with the way this gun is, my double action is like 6 pounds. So, I mean, you can see the gun's empty. It's still getting pointed in a safe direction as a hill here. But in double action, I mean, it's literally, and as you can see here, there's hardly no creep. So watch, when I pull back the trigger, I mean, it's just smooth. Very, very smooth. 6 pounds on that. And then, of course, the single action got lightened up quite a bit. It's a 3 pound single action now. So I dropped it down. I almost cut the numbers both in half. The factory trigger on it came in right around 12.5 to 13 pounds. And I was not very pleased with that. It just, it was a little bit too stout as far as the trigger goes. Whereas the Smith & Wesson 686 does have a smoother trigger, but you're going to pay $100 extra. With this, you're going to save $100. You can put that towards ammunition. And I know some guys that are big-time Smith & Wesson fans are about to start chiming in. I'm sure in the comments, there'll be somebody eventually. I don't have many subscribers, but there will be somebody eventually that will chime in and say, "Oh, 686 is a much superior gun." And I wouldn't say that at all. Smith & Wesson does make a fine revolver, but the Ruger can handle a lot stronger loads than that. Matter of fact, there's some companies out there that'll tell you that you can only shoot their ammunition out of a Ruger. So here we go. We're going to shoot it a little bit more. Let's go for that 8-inch plate right up front here, up close. Again. Oh yeah, that's nice. And the thing hits. It hits hard, doesn't it? Okay, let's go for the 16 here. Let's see. Let's try out that double action. And no, I do not reload 357 Magnum. I don't shoot it enough to reload. So yeah, you're gonna. Oh my God, he's dumping his brass on the ground. And I could pick him up if I want to. I will eventually pick him up. I try to keep it somewhat clean down here. Let's do that double action on that 16-inch here, and just show you what that Wilson Combat Spring Kit did. I mean, it's not Jerry Michalak fast, but it definitely is a big improvement over the factory. I'll never be as fast as Jerry Michalak. I don't know how that guy does it. I think he's got an auto sear built right into his finger. Pretty sure of that. Okay, we're going to go for the 8-inch down there a little bit farther. .357 Magnum, man. What a fun round to shoot, huh? If you're looking at getting a big revolver like this, in .357, I would definitely advise looking at the GP 100. It's built like a tank. I mean, this thing, like I said, it's artillery. It's a hand cannon in .357. And when I say hand cannon, I'm not acting like this is the most powerful gun out there. I know 500 Smith & Wesson is. I know there's many more options. I mean, you got so many more options that are a lot stronger than the .357 Magnum. But, it served our police departments for a long time. you can easily take white-tailed deer, say out to 50 yards with one of these, maybe a little bit farther. I know here in the state I live in, Ohio, you're allowed to hunt white-tailed deer with a 357 Magnum as long as it has a 5-inch barrel or longer on it. And there's been many people take white-tailed deer with a 357 Magnum and do it very efficiently within the proper range. I mean, I wouldn't go over 50 yards with a handgun hunting anyways, unless it was like a 460 or a 500. Possibly a 44 mag or a 454 Casole. But when it gets into these, 50 yards is probably be as far as I'd want to shoot a deer with it. I think that would humanely dispatch the animal without a problem at all. But yeah, these things, they're built like tanks. I mean, if you don't know much about it, the cylinder locks up here, and it locks up here, and where else does it lock up? There's like a 3-point lockup on these cylinders. I'm not going to be the best at explaining this to you, but this gun locks up solid. It doesn't have much cylinder shake, anything like that. This is a pretty good specimen of the GP100. I got a really good deal on this gun. I picked this gun up for $400, along with about 700 rounds of ammo. And at the time, it didn't even have a cylinder line on it. It's really dirty from me shooting it today. But I'll show you what a cylinder line is if you don't know what a cylinder line is. Whenever you have a revolver, you have a little part down in here that sticks up, protrudes. That's called your cylinder stop. Pretty sure you can see it right there. Okay, so basically, as the cylinder rotates, that cylinder stop rubs and falls down into these grooves, and that's what actually holds the cylinder in place. You have an elevator inside here that pushes up on these little notches. So as you pull the trigger in double action, or even when you cock back the hammer, that elevator rotates the cylinder, okay? And that cylinder stop makes that line. And that's just from it rubbing. And so that's one way to, really good way to tell if a gun has been shot a lot, a revolver, is if it has a cylinder line. If it doesn't have a cylinder line, chances are it's not been fired much at all, or not fired at all. And so this thing didn't even have a cylinder line on it. It was pretty much brand new, had never been shot. And I was actually in the process of trying to get a 44 Magnum. I was looking for a 44 Magnum, and just happened to be there one day. Discussion came up about this gun, and I picked it up dirt cheap. Real street price on one of these, though. I've seen them go anywhere from like $580 up to like $700 and something. Most of your big box stores are going to have them for a lot more money. Me personally, I always go to small mom and pop shops for my guns. I try to avoid the big box stores just because they seem to be total opposite of, like, say, big box hardware stores. So say, for instance, or even big box grocery stores. You go into like a big box hardware store, you're going to find your nuts and bolts, your nails, everything there cheaper than what you would at, say, a mom and pop shop. Okay, but when it comes to guns, those big box stores, they charge full MSRP on almost every single thing, and that's why I always go to small mom and pop shops. One of the shops I go to is Country Attic Treasures. They're really good to me. They treat me good, so that's why I always kind of give them a little plug here and there. But yeah, if you're looking for a good 357 Magnum, go with the GP100. I did, and I'm very happy with it. It's a great shooting gun. It definitely outshoots me for sure. I'm not a revolver shooter by no means, and I'm happy with it. If you like what you've seen today, please subscribe, and thank you for watching the Gun Corps channel.